right. Thank you, Fadi. Shola, you know the last report about the shooting spree generally?
Yeah, and you were just saying within 24 hours, I mean, they knew the culprits. Unfortunately,
got them arrested.
In Nigeria, whether it's the herdsmen or kidnappers and all of that, we continue to hear unknown gunmen.
Unknown gunmen. And besides
unknown.
that, when arrests are made, they say for security reasons, the names of the persons cannot be made public. And what security are we talking about? What's the difference?
When the security has already been breached.
It's been breached, exactly. You know.
All right, we're still staying with the herdsmen issues. Well, in Benue State, the Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom, has accused the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, of being an accomplice to recent attacks in the state. Otom's comments come after media reports that the police chief had demanded a suspension of Benue's anti-open grazing law.
Yeah. Now, he says if the reports are true, Idris is either on the mission to mislead the nation or is complicit in the attacks by herdsmen. Benue became the second state to implement the law last November after Ekiti State.
All right, we have joining us in the studio the President, Igbo Youth Congress, Bright Ezeocha. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you make of this back and forth between the Benue State Governor and the IG? The Benue State Governor is saying if indeed the IG of Police, Idris Ibrahim, has called for the suspension of the open grazing law, which was put in place in Benue State, then he may just be complicit.
Honestly, I'm not surprised to hear that the IG made such statements, because it seems that's been a trend in the present federal government. The other day, the defense minister also statement pointed to that same direction. It's obvious that the federal government is not ready to assist the Benue State to achieve an existing law in Benue State. And that calls to question if the federal government, this federal police structure, if it's actually working in Nigeria. Because if a state have made a law that was properly made, passed by the two-thirds majority of the House, and what the people feel that is a solution to their problems, and the federal government are supposed to help to maintain the law, are telling them that they have to suspend a well-passed law, a law that the people believed in, and that was signed by two-thirds majority, but required by law of the land. And for Inspector General of Police to say the same thing, and the defense minister also saying the same thing, in fact, everybody in the federal government, they are singing the same tune. So indirectly, they are not ready to assist. Indirectly, they are not ready to arrest anybody, any of the Fulani herdsmen that are causing this mayhem in Benue State. Indirectly, they are trying to twist the state to dance their tune. It's unfortunate.
All right. We heard the federal government at the time urged state governments to accommodate their kinsmen, accommodate their countrymen, the herders, the Fulani herders in their territory, in their domain. And then when they came up with the cattle colonies, a lot of states, just 16 states, and coincidentally, I want to use that very strategically, coincidentally, all the 16 states are all in the north. The states in the south said, no, don't come. As far as this is concerned, there is no place for the colonies in our territories. Now, do we have issues of, are we getting better or getting worse with the issue of suspicion and trust within each other in this country?
You can only accommodate your friendly and peaceful visitors. You cannot accommodate, there's no room to accommodate a hostile visitor. There's no room to accommodate a visitor that is not planning good for you. We have seen it in the past, in the recent time, that most of these herdsmen live in any community they live, they create havoc. And you cannot accommodate those that are not ready to obey the rule of the law of the land. You cannot accommodate those that want to destroy your farmland. How do you accommodate such people? The people who in their mind, I believe that Nigeria belongs to them. We had the recent statement made by the Fulani something that the Nigeria is their God-given right. And then if somebody is thinking that direction, that Nigeria belongs to them, how do you accommodate such character in your midst? That means you are in a serious threat. So because if by the way they are going and the way they are being hostile to the host communities, that nobody will open their arms and welcome an enemy in their territories.
But are we not looking at this problem superficially instead of looking at the deeper issues that may be involved? When you even use the word visitor for any Nigerian who shows up in any part of the country, isn't there something fundamentally wrong with that? Should any Nigerian be described as a visitor, whether he's a northerner in the southeast or a southeasterner in the north? Should he be seen as a visitor? And that's number one. Then the open grazing law, the law against open grazing, is it not in essence discriminatory against people from certain parts of the country or certain segments of the society in general?
When you are talking about visitor, describing somebody as a visitor, there's these landowners and they get as indigenous of every state. Unfortunately, that's
but they are Nigerians.
They are Nigerians. That is the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. There's no way I can, as I'm an Igbo man, by my name, by everything about me, I'm an Igbo man. There's no way I can come to them and tell that that I'm an indigen in Lagos State, because I must have a limit. There's a limit for me. As long as the present day Nigeria made it so.
Isn't that what is fundamentally wrong?
But that limit you're talking about, are you not the one imposing it on yourself? Because the point there is that when you, for instance, if you come from Imo State or from Anambra State or from Abia or Ebonyi, as the case may be, or Enugu, and you come to Lagos and you want to buy land to reside here, or you want to start your business, nobody stops you. Nobody says, where are you from before we sell this plot of land to you? It's the same thing in Abuja, the same thing in Port Harcourt, the same thing everywhere. So when you're talking about limits, are we not the one limiting ourselves in that regard?
No. Mind you, in every document you feel in the government circle, there's always state of origin.
For data?
For data. Whether for data or for anybody, there's a reason and a purpose for that state of origin to be stipulated there clearly, and you must state where the part of Nigeria you are from. Before I become in Nigeria, I'm first of all an Igbo man. Do you understand? So being in Nigeria does not take that fact away from that I'm an Igbo man.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of debate around the issue of the state of origin issue, which some people across board have been saying there's a need to expunge that Nigeria needs to move away from state of origin to Nigerianness.
Or state of residence.
State of residence.
But you must also agree with me that it doesn't matter where you come from. Like I am here in Lagos now. If I'm living peacefully with my host in Lagos, nobody cares where I come from. But if I become antagonistic, if I become violent to them, people will begin to ask questions. Where is he from? Is this man really, is this man an indigen? If he's not an indigen, where is he from? So we cannot rule that away from our present-day Nigeria. So when you're talking about accommodating people, we can only accommodate those that are ready to live peacefully with us, to cohabit peacefully with us.
Let's have a better understanding on this. The point there is, growing up, like we always say here, we used to know Fulani herdsmen as very friendly people, where you await them to even come close to your farm to give you nunu and give you fura and all of that. Exactly. Yeah. And then sometimes they speak your language and everybody just plays around it. At what point did we get it wrong? Because if you go to Okigwe now, they've always been there's a major depot of cattle in Okigwe, for instance, and they've never really had issues. In fact, it's like a home to everyone. It's like a home to them.
Maybe because people are playing on the crisis that is brewing up in Abia State today. Because I'm from Imo, the southeast, and as a leader of Igbo Youth Congress, I know of everything that is going on. Every now and then, you hear of story, Fulani herdsmen have raped somebody, killed somebody, destroyed somebody's farm. It's just because perhaps the people don't want this problem to escalate to the level we're having today in Benue State. But that does not mean that there's no crisis in all those
But
areas.
do we need it to escalate, or shouldn't this be tackled as a crime? Whether it is a Fulani herdsman who commits the crime,
exactly,
or an Igbo herdsman or Yoruba herdsman.
If the federal government, because the federal government, those who are supposed to tackle this issue, is not seeing it as a crime. They are seeing it as somebody's trying to deny somebody his rights. Because if for any reason you decide to arm yourself, for any reason you decide to destroy somebody's source of livelihood, you should be treated like a criminal, which you are. Because by the time you begin to petrify it, you must allow them to graze in your farmland. You must do. Then you're not ready to face this situation, and people will take the laws into their hands. The federal government is not showing any seriousness in tackling this herdsman issue. So that's why there's no way. Before I came here, I was disarming the militia. I said it's not possible to disarm them, because how do you disarm the militia when there's people threatening them with sophisticated weapons, and the federal government is not ready to do anything? Those who are supposed to protect you are saying that you should suspend the law that the people have put in place to safeguard their lives and property, and somebody is saying the person that's supposed to maintain the law is saying suspend it. Then, and when you look at the composition of the Federal Security Council, it's not also helping us in any way. Because when you have a situation where a majority of the people in the Federal Security Council come from one region, while just two come from the other side, then you can see the boldness on those that are attacking the innocent people every day.
All right. On the other hand, too, there has always also been some theory on this issue that since the government has not done anything, or is not seen to be doing anything much about the herdsmen, a lot of people just perpetrate this act. Like you mentioned the issue of rape and all of that earlier on, in the name of herdsmen, and then you just blame it on herdsmen, even if it's not herdsmen.
No, you see, there is always an evidence pointing to the direction where there's in every rumor there's an atom of truth in it. If a woman had left her home to a farmland to farm, and she cried home that she had been raped by a Fulani herdsman, you go to the police, and police people are not ready to do anything. They will tell you how do they get them, where no, but not, you did not get justice. Then people begin to arm themselves. People begin to think of how to take revenge, because if they cannot get justice through the constituted authority, we begin to think of how to get that justice by your own means. And by that means could mean going extra miles.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it likely that criminals are also perpetrating acts and then blaming it on the herdsmen? The
truth is that if there is criminals among them that are perpetrating these acts, it's on them, since the federal government is not ready to help, to be able to fish those people out. Because today, if you come to in my community today, if you come to raise an alarm that certain things is going on, everybody in the community will know ourselves. There was a time one of the royal father called those boys in the communities that they are with suspected characters and tell them to leave the community. That is a way to address some of these issues.
Can we say the same with this herdsman crisis that we have on our hands? Do we just say leave our community, like in the case of Kano State Governor Ganduje, who's saying to the herdsmen, come home to Kano.
Come to Kano.
You know,
we're going to accommodate all of you.
So we'll solve the problem. Can we really solve the problem that way, or should we go back to the real issue of justice that you talked about? If justice is done and seen to be done, then we can actually solve this problem.
That is the only way we can solve the problem. But when you look at the federal government,
but when you say that federal government is not doing enough, that's actually the point that I'm coming to. Federal government will tell you we have been doing.
Not being honest.
Okay, let's look at some of the things that the federal government has tried to do in the past few weeks or so, calling on Benue leaders, for example, in the case of Benue, and of course, governors of contiguous states, to Aso Villa to have a discussion on the way forward. The IG of police is redeployed to Benue State to solve that problem. Of course, there's a new CP, a former CP of Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Fatai Owosheni, in Benue State right now. And one would expect that with this deployment...
Don't forget the panel
exactly,
headed by the Vice President that talked
place.
About the military option.
You see, let us tell ourselves the naked truth. When there was a threat from the southeast, from the IPOB, federal government deployed military immediately. When there were a problem of militancy in the south, military were deployed immediately. And now we are talking about Fulani herdsmen with sophisticated weapons. We are deploying the police. Tell me the honesty in that character. Then not just that, you are deploying the police. And a few days ago, 7 people were killed in Boko. Immediately deployed military to that place. The life of those Benue people, the indigenous Benue people, does it not matter to them? So only the life of the Fulanis that matters to them. For you to be able to be prompt in deploying military to Boko. Whereas more than hundreds have been killed or elsewhere. He did not deploy military.
So what is the way?
There sincerity in such government?
What is the way forward? If you were in a position to advise government in a way to actually tackle this problem once and for all, and not just palliatives, you know, that they put in place, what would you advise government to do? Government has said cattle colonies. Majority of the states are saying no.
So where do you carve out this issue of cattle colonies?
But who
are you going to colonize? Who do you want to colonize? We're talking about 21st century Nigeria, talking about cattle colony. What is obtainable or elsewhere is ranching.
Can we assume that this government made a mistake using the word colony instead of ranches, like we had before in this same country?
Idea of colony, you carve out land. In every state, you are demanding 5,000 hectares of land. How many hectares of land we have in the resource of it, in a growing population in Nigeria? You talk about Southeast today. How many hectares of land do we have that we are going to donate 25,000 hectares of land in the entire Southeast? Do you want to take over our lands? And you now want to settle people there? And you want to use federal government money to sponsor private businesses. Meanwhile, there are some Igbo people, traders that are trading in the north, trading in the south, in the southwest. Some people have to sell their landed property to acquire shops and a place of business. And now you want to use federal government money to sponsor private and individual businesses. Does it make sense? And you are telling people that they have to carve out land, call it colony, a track route, and then you want people to accept that?
All right, but on the other hand,
in the 21st century in Nigeria, we should not be talking about colony.
Yeah, right. But on the other hand, if the word colony wasn't used, and then it was used like class of ranches, as the case may be,
like Obudu cattle ranch,
a collection of ranches, would they have made any difference?
No,
because the Minister of Agriculture made us know that the colonies we're talking about is a collection of different ranches put together.
You see, in Nigeria today, the president of Nigeria, we are suspicious of each other. Like you can see what is going on now. The military creating ranches all over the military barracks. It's not acceptable to Nigerians. It is not acceptable at all. Cattle rearing is personal business. If you want to rear your cattle, go and acquire land. As I come to Lagos State here, where I live today, I paid for the land, I live there.
If a herdsman came to you, a Fulani herdsman came to you and said, nah, I would like to buy a piece of land from you, would you sell it to him?
Of course, why not?
Okay, let's
why
leave
not?
it there.
If you are willing to give me the going price,
I
would sell it to you, and then it will be documented that this land was sold to you.
All right. Bright Ezocha is the National President, Igbo Youth Congress. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you. Yeah.
Of course, the Mieti Allah has actually said that the part of the problem is that the grazing routes have been eroded over time.
And blocked, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, we hope for better solutions to that, lasting solution to